I'm not sure this is gonna be a hot take, but I feel like this show, Eden Zero, the anime, in the manga, reminds me a lot of One Piece, actually. Like, a lot of it kind of like One Piece, like how the storyline goes and what the group of heroes in this manga slash anime are going after. It really sets up like a journey like One Piece. And on this episode of Movie Breakdowns, I'm gonna review season 1 of Eden Zero. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdown Series Review? Movie review series, look at anime, TV shows, movies, series, each episode, each movie, give each one a grade, A through F, plus and minuses do count, and at the end of it, I'll get a compilation grade as well. And there's a series you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I can get to as best I can. Also, Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. You get to cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it comes on Facebook and YouTube. You guys get trade reactions, trade reviews, and much more content on the Patreon. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Eden Zero from 2021. This series, the anime I should say, started in April 2021, made by JC Staff, or produced by JC Staff. The writer and the creator of it all is Hiro Mashima. He also worked on Fairy Tail. He also worked on Rave Master. Because this is such a new anime, and it's, well, I guess it's been out for almost a year, so I guess I will have spoilers in this review. I was gonna do like a half spoiler review, but screw it. We won't have spoilers in this. So what is Eden Zero about? Well, Eden Zero is about a guy named Shiki Granville, Shiki Granville, and he meets a girl named Rebecca and this cat named Happy. They get a crew together and they go off finding this space goddess named by the name of Mother. And for them to get to this space goddess that nobody ever seen or ever got to, I should say, they have to go on kind of like a mission to gather the 4 shining stars and then eventually get beyond the galaxy that they're in to get to Mother. So it's an adventure story. Kind of reminds me of One Piece. Like One Piece is about Luffy and going out to find the epic One Piece. Well, Eden Zero is about Shiki and going out to find, well, season 1 I should say, going out to find good old Mother, who was supposed to be at the end of the universe or somewhere out in the universe. They gotta go find her. And before I get into more of the details of the things I like and didn't like, I do want to say it was kind of cool for me to come across this series. I actually came across the manga first. I'm actually about to get the book, which is Mashima Heroes. So in this book, in this manga, he had the story from Fairy Tail, the story from Rave Master, and then Eden Zero all in one book. And I picked it up, I was like, okay, I know Rave Master. I never could get into Fairy Tail. That's why you don't ever hear me talk about it. And I was like, I'm gonna pick this up and see what happens. And I found myself really enjoying it, where I ended up getting manga 1, volume 1 of Eden Zero. And I've been following this manga since, what, September of 2021, if not the summer of 2021. It's been a very fun series for me. I've been enjoying it, and the anime pretty much is just like the manga with a few different changes that I wasn't really a fan of, but it overall does, as far as the storyline goes, it doesn't hurt the story at all. So the things that I like, the story, I think the story is solid. Like the fact you have Shiki, who lives on a planet full of robots, and he finally get the chance to get off that planet because the robots are dying, so he's trying to push him out. And Rebecca, who is a B-cuber, which is like the universes or the space, this world, this universe's world of like YouTubers. B-cubers pretty much become famous by using little cubes and do all these little videos, kind of like a YouTuber. And she's a content creator, and she wanted to get content for her YouTube channel, her B-Cube channel, and she goes to Granville, which is this island or this planet full of robots, this amusement park planet that Shiki lives on. And Shiki meets Rebecca, first person he ever seen. He never seen humans. Finally meets her, and they have a fan service moment where he pretty much just like touching her all over her. I forgot, like, wait, she's a human? And he's like, oh, she's a girl. And of course, Rebecca knocks him out. And then he's like, oh, well, want to be my friend? So Shiki wants to meet, one of his goals to be a bunch of people and gain a bunch of friends. And that's in the manga as well as the anime, while Rebecca wants to get more content for her B-Cube channel and kind of become a famous B-Cuber. So you get to see these two join each other and end up going to their goals. And then Shiki's like, well, let's go on an adventure. Let's go meet Mother. And Rebecca's like, yeah, that'd be cool. I can make content for my channel. I'm down with it. Let's go on this adventure. And that's pretty much the gist of it. But then you get other storylines where you get other people like the Shining Stars and people like Homura and her backstory, and Weiss, and he comes in who had a little kind of relief to it. So it's not just this pure, let's go off and find Mother, but you also have other stories that wrap into it that makes it a little more, like, you get a little more attached to it. And it kind of reminds me, the way that this story goes and the way how it plays out, it kind of reminds me of like a Marvel TV show or a Marvel movie where you have like these very serious moments, but also moments of levity where it's fun, you have a laugh, have a chuckle, and then go back to something serious. Like one of the four Shining Stars you meet actually passed away, and she pretty much give her life saving people, but her pupil comes back and finds her body and really breaks down in tears because she looked at that person as a mother. And you have that very strong scene, but then you have a scene where Weiss turns into a superhero. His armor breaks and he's butt naked, and Rebecca's like, oh my gosh, no. But the comedy does work. It's not in your face comedy. It's definitely like, it's done when it's warranted. The comedy in this series is done when it needs to be done, and the seriousness in the series is there when it needs to be done. I also like the characters. The characters in this show is pretty cool. They're all, besides Shiki being kind of like your stereotypical shonen protagonist, everybody else is kind of unique. Rebecca, you can say she's your damsel in distress, but she's not really somebody who can't hold her own. Like, she definitely kicks butt in this anime, so she's not in the manga too, so she's not somebody who just write off. Homura's a badass. Weiss is a badass. Like, they're not just weak characters, which certain times take away the, what's the word looking for? Not the anxiety, but takes away the suspense of they get into a battle, like will they come out on top or will they lose? You don't know. But most of the time you be like, they're about to handle this. We should see how they're going to handle it. Like, they're going to win, but how do they win? And that's probably one of my negatives towards Eden Zero. It's like when I first read the manga and watched the anime, freaking Shiki is one of the strongest characters you meet. He is ridiculously strong. And you're like, man, okay, well, what's going to happen here? In season 1, which is only like 25 episodes, he, for the most time, wins half the fights he's in. Like, he doesn't lose. And you're like, huh, okay. But then you watch like situations where like Rebecca gets in that scene, or get in a moment, and Weiss gets in a moment, or Homura pretty much wins all her fights. You don't ever see her struggle because she's just as competent as far as fighting wise as Shiki. Rebecca, who might not be, as strong as the other two, she can hold her own. And Weiss, who might not be as strong as the other two, he can hold his own as well. So, like, when you're watching it, you're kind of be like, well, they're gonna come out on top, but I guess it's to see how they're gonna come out on top. Like, they're not gonna, like, once again, like a Marvel TV show or a Marvel movie, you're like, they're not gonna die at this point. It is season 1. I give it that. It's season 1. Another thing, and this is something that happens in the manga that also happens in the anime, it does move fast. Like, it's a very fast-paced anime, but you can keep up with it, you can follow along, you're not getting lost. And they're going to different planets. Like, probably within season 1, there's probably at maybe 6 or 7 different planets. you know what happens in the planet and everything gets wrapped up. Like it's not like any loose ends. It's not like, oh, they left anything on the table or I want to know more about that. No, like you've learned about each person well enough to be like, all right, this is sufficient. Very good. Very good. Which reminds me of, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Damachi, which is season 1, I believe, was like 12 episodes, and I felt like they rushed a lot of characters that could have developed. With Eden Zero, because of 26 episodes, it lets you time to get characters to breathe, and you know about characters, you learn who they are, their backstories. So I give props to Eden Zero on character development in this series, and you find yourself getting attached to these characters because, like, one, it also shows them hanging out. It shows them doing things before going to different planets. And I even find it kind of funny because there's an episode where Rebecca, they go to a planet and Rebecca goes, why does stuff keep happening everywhere we go? I like that. I like that how the characters also recognize that they just land on a different planet and then stuff pops off. And they're like, I just showed up here to go to a casino and now I gotta fight a gang of villains? What the? I do like that. That is kind of a little fourth wall breaking where the characters realize like this just keeps happening everywhere we go. I do like that. Artwork and animation is another thing I do like. I think the artwork is done really well at certain scenes, certain moments, like when they do like a little painting of the characters having this moment. It is really great. There is CGI in this. When they get the robots fighting, you get the CGI fights of the robots and it looks more out of place, but it doesn't look completely out of place or take you out of the show. It works perfectly fine because it is out of space, so it gels, but for the most part the animation is great. The music, I find myself singing Shiki's theme song or happy when he's doing his transformation. Like the music is catchy in this. As far as the openers go for the music, opening 1 is solid, opening 1's fun, opening 2, take it or leave it, closing 1 is really catchy, closing 2, so it's a mix as far as openers. 2 openers and 2 closers in the season, in season 1. So I already talked about things that I mixed in little things of I dislike and like, but another thing I disliked was the fan service. Now, I think fan service, when it's done right, can work. You can tell the Mashima likes drawing his characters a certain way. You can see it. You know he loves to do that. Which, okay, that's fine. Not just guys, or not just girls, but he does the guys the same way. Cool. If a guy has his shirt off, a girl is gonna have her shirt off at one point. All right, fan service. I get it. But the anime does something that really annoys me. It does the wow! Wow! It does that. No matter what it is.
Look what else they have.
There was an episode where Shiki puts glasses on, it's like x-ray glasses. And he looks over and he sees Happy, he goes, wow! And then he sees Rebecca and goes, wow! And there was one episode that did like 4 different times. I was like, I get it. This will be a fan service moment. I get it. The characters find Rebecca super attractive. They all say it. I don't need the wow every single time that a fan service moment have it on the screen. We get it. We get it. You're drawing a girl taking a bath. There's steam around her. We get it. Like, I don't need the wow for her wearing a maid outfit. We get it. You don't have to let us know. We get it. I kind of find it super annoying, and there's other episodes that really bring it to the forefront, and I'm just like,
Jesus Christ.
Stop it. Stop. We understand. Granted, as the series progresses, get a little more serious, so you stop doing the wow so much, but it is definitely annoying part of it. And then another thing that I didn't like was Shiki's fear of bugs. The manga didn't really have it, and the anime wanted to throw it in episode 1 and wanted to throw it in episode 3, and anytime he's around bugs, he freaks out, which didn't really add to the character. And I guess there's only one scene in the series, in this season so far, where it made sense. It gave Rebecca a moment of shine because Shiki passed out thanks to, you know, seeing the bugs. But then again, in the next scene, he's up and ready to go and helping she helping Rebecca and Homura defeat a monster, which I want to read that part in the manga to see exactly how that plays out, because the manga doesn't talk about his fear of bugs at all, but the anime was like, we're gonna make him have fear of bugs because we think it's funny. And I'm just like, why is that necessary? Those like that, that's one of my nitpicks, is that the WoW for this fan service, because there is fan service in here now, not like nudity, but like you're gonna get a side boob or a cheek, like have like a swimsuit, or Wise, for example, butt naked for a guy and cheeky with his clothes off. So you're gonna get that here and there, but yeah, it's fun. It's cool. It's fine. Like, I'm not like, it didn't distract from, besides the WoW, it didn't really distract from the story, or like, we're gonna need a fan service episode, so let's go ahead and make the beach. It was like, Wise, for example, is a perv, so he wants to see, you know, Homura wear a bunny outfit, so he gets her another bunny outfit, like a Playboy bunny outfit, because he wants to see that, and Homura lost a bet. So like, those things were in the story, and it also makes sense as far as story goes. Like, Wise is a perv, he made a bet with Homura lost, Wise get the, you know, see her in this outfit. Like, it makes sense as far as the story being told, so it doesn't really distract from what's going on. But at the same time, there's certain episodes where the WoW was completely unnecessary, and it was like, stop it. We get it. We get fan service. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Don't have to do this. Anything else before I get into, you know, I already talked about the producers of the company, JC Staff, and, you know, Hiro Mashima. This is on Netflix, so if you want to go watch, you can watch on Netflix. I think animation wise, JC Staff did a good job bringing the manga to life. Let's go talk about the characters. Let's go ahead and do this. Now, I do like I said earlier, how like you get to see the crew bond with each other, and you get to see them over time connect. That was kind of cool. It's like, it showed that they actually are friends. They're not just people who like on the ship off in the corner, though. Like, they actually are bonding. They actually have moments where they're talking to each other and kind of living out like what your dreams and goals are going to be, and you know, you are human. And no, that's one thing about this that was kind of cool, is that like you get to see how this world is. I guess this universe is, you have robots and people and aliens coexisting with each other, and there are robots who might not like humans, and there's humans who might not like robots, and there's prejudice and all this stuff in this world, which is really, really cool. And Shiki, who's pretty much open to all robots, he kind of shows you that like not all humans are bad. Like, you can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. I do like that. I think that's a pretty cool little story bit in this that is much deeper than just the face cover of Shiki on an adventure. But Shiki Granville, he is your protagonist. He is a kind-hearted, loyal character. He has a sense of justice. If somebody hurts somebody who's weak or somebody who can't protect themselves, Shiki's going to jump up and protect them regardless of situation. Even they was bullying his friends earlier. For example, there's a girl he gets up and protects. She was bullying his friend, and he didn't like her, but he's like, hey, she needs help. And my granddad always told me, if you know somebody's in danger, you protect them no matter what. So I thought that was kind of cool. And he's a ether gear user. So ether is kind of like this world source of power and energy, and ether gear is this ability to use the energy, and it's ancient. It's considered an ancient energy, and Shiki has the ability of gravity. He learned it from Ziggy, who is the Demon King, and Shiki learned it from him, and Shiki can use gravity, which makes him pretty much almost an unstoppable character. Like, he's really overpowerful in season 1, and unless you get something on him where he gets electrocuted or something like that, 9 times out of 10 he's winning the fight. So, but Shiki is a good protagonist to follow the story behind. Like, for the most part, he is somebody you're experiencing the world with. Cool character. You have Rebecca Blueguard. So Rebecca is a really cool character as well. I really like her, the fact that she's not just a damsel in distress. She's kind of smart mouth, kind of in your face at times, but at the same time compassionate and cares about others, and she really has this connection with this cat named Happy, who's her pet but also her friend as well, a talking cat named Happy that's also an android, and they're really good friends. And Rebecca, to me, is just like one of a cool dynamic to the series. Yes, she get used as fan service a lot in the season, but at the same time, she's not like a character you can just toss to the side. She can hold her own in a fight and willing to kick butt and step over everybody. She's also adventurous. She's the beekeeper, which she makes YouTube video for content, and kind of just like a happy-go-lucky person, just like Shiki. Rebecca's a cool character. I really like her. Happy is Rebecca's best friend, also the cat android. He's kind of like the mascot of the group. Like, he's around, add little jokes here and there, but for the most part, he is just there as a sidekick. Weiss is one, he is like a friend of Rebecca's when he's 50 years old. He helps bring Happy back to life, but then they meet this younger version of Weiss in another time period. They go to this planet that gets trapped in a certain time, but they get out of it, so it's not like time skipping. They just go to a planet that's been stuck in a certain time zone. And Weiss Steiner is the younger version of their friend who joins the crew. At first, he's like a pervert out for himself. He doesn't care, but like he won't follow women, chasing women, stuff like that. And then eventually, he warms up to the crew. He has a sense of honor as well, and kind of like he wants to help out others. And as the series progresses, he opens up to the crew as the crew accepts him in as one of their own. But at first, he's kind of like a sleazebag, underground, kind of dirty dude, but then he turns out to be like a really cool dude by the end of season 1. Pino is probably one of the most adorable characters on this show. She's a little android who has a really sad background as well. She gets captured and gets tortured, and Shiki, Rebecca, goes and saves her. But she kind of wants to be a human and I don't know what it's like to be alive, and she doesn't think she can trust humans and doesn't really understand her emotions. And she can kind of show like, no, these are things you can have, these are emotions, you can be friends with whoever you want. And she kind of opens up to, Shiki and the rest of the gang. And she's another mascot who comes into play here and there. She helps out here and there. For the most part, she kind of gives like exposition or elaborations on certain stuff. And I don't know, I adore Pino. I kind of want to see what more goes on with her background in the future. But yeah, Pino's a cool character. And then you have the 4 shining stars, which are like the 4 guardians of the Eden Zero, which I didn't even talk about the Eden Zero. It's the spaceship that Ziggy, who's a demon king, had. And Shiki pretty much get in possession of the spaceship that they're going to use it to find Mother. But in order to find Mother, you need to find all 4 shining stars who can all like guardians of the ship. And with their help, they can guide Shiki and his friends to find Mother. And the 4 shining stars, they're so powerful that they actually sit on the ship 9 times out of 10. They really don't get involved. But when you first meet them, they're involved. But then afterwards, they kind of get written off to the side, because if they're there for half the battles, there would be no conflict. So other than that, they're cool characters. But I'm not going to break them down, because at this point, they haven't really done much. They're just there. You find them. They're kind of like plot points. Find them. They hang out on the ship. Homura. So Homura Kogetsu is probably my favorite character. She is a tough character who puts up with no bull, fights for what she wants for. She's kind of like the female version of Shiki. Only thing is, she says everything she's thinking out loud, which adds a lot of comedy bits to things, because she'll say something and they're like, you just thought that out loud. And she goes, dang it, I did it again. Which I really enjoy her character. I enjoy her character design, by the way, with the Komodo / samurai outfit. She's a samurai, which I like samurai. So she's one of my favorite characters. And she has a really tragic backstory in season 1 that's like, man, that actually got me. Like, it got serious. It got real serious. Like, good job on the writing there, Mashima. Good job. Good job. But Homura is one of my favorite characters. I'm curious to see how her character progresses in the future and what more would she do in the future as well. She is also ditzy at certain times, kind of like, not an airhead, but she doesn't think things through at times. But other than that, she's a fun character. Like, she adds a different dynamic to the group. And each person, Shiki, Rebecca, Wise, and Homura all adds different personalities and different things to the group. And Shiki is like, these are my friends. I appreciate them all. Good writing for them. I enjoy it. I enjoy the characters. Good stuff. Any other thoughts? No, the music is solid. The artwork is good. I like how things are fleshed out when it comes to the characters. Like, you know about Homura's backstory. You get Wise's backstory. You get, Shiki's backstory. Or for the most part, you meet him that way. You learn about him. You get Rebecca's backstory. And each episode, there's episodes dedicated to the backstory, so you understand where they're coming from, why they're doing certain things, and ways they go through life. Like, Wise, for example, you don't get what his younger backstory is, but he's 50 years old in the future. He's 50 years old in the present timeline, but you meet his younger self, so you know how he's like in the past, and you're kind of living with his past self. So you really don't need to know much more, but you know what he's becoming, but you know what he's like there. So, like, you kind of get his backstory in a way of watching it unfold, which is kind of cool. But like Rebecca's backstory, Happy's backstory, Pino's backstory, you get, Homer already said the Four Shining Stars backstory. And there's been a 25 episode season, you can dedicate each episode to these characters, and then the rest of the episodes about whatever struggle or battle they're going through at this certain time. I think the reason why Homer's story hits me so much because it's the one that you halfway through season 1, it's the one that is actually brought to the forefront. They're looking for her master, her teacher, and for the most part, like, second half of season 1 is about finding that teacher and finding that person. So it really does add more to Homer's story, and when it all concludes at the end, you're like, oh man. But the villains in the season are not that strong yet. You get one guy who could become the overarching bad guy for the most part. Everybody else is kind of like villains on certain planets, and they're just getting disposed of as Shiki and the rest of the gang goes to these planets, and either just by showing up, helping people on this planet, or changing the way the planet moves in life. So it's a solid story for good season 1. I really enjoyed this season 1. I think it's really good. Is this an anime you should binge? I don't think it's binge worthy. Not yet. It's not binge worthy yet. Like, I watch a few episodes here and there, and I'll stop and watch a few more episodes here and there and then stop. It's nothing that I will watch. Like, I could not binge it all the way through. I tried binging it all the way through, but then like a certain episode I'll put it down and come back later within the span of the month of January. So it's not binge worthy yet, but it could be there. It could be. Grading time. I'm going to grade Eden Zero Season 1 a solid B. This is a B anime for me. I like the main story. I like the character designs. I like, the characters themselves, the comedy, the seriousness at certain points. The only thing is that I do feel like it moves a little fast. It's a fast-paced anime, so you don't get to really sit on certain planets or certain backstory that gets, fleshed out even more. But each episode to the characters kind of is good enough, and you get to see the characters still grow and connect. I do like how the characters, when they're around each other, they really are connecting and really are bonding with each other, and it shows. It shows that they're friends. It shows that they're a crew. Now, the things I dislike, for example, I did say the fast pace a little bit. Not really much of a fan of it. I'm in the middle of that. And the power level. Shiki is super powerful. He's OP. So I don't really see the struggle just yet, but that's season 1 for you. It's introducing to everybody. And the unnecessary attention of fan service. Letting you know that this is a fan service moment. Oh my gosh, get ready guys, get ready girls. This is your fan service moment. The wow! I did not like that. I think that was a little too much. It just way too much there. It really did bother me. But other than that, it was fine. I enjoyed the season. Really did. Some of the robotic animation when they do like the 3D animation shows out, but other than that, it's fine. The music is good. Solid. So yeah, it's a B. 85%. As of right now, IMDb gave Eden Zero a 7.3. So IMDb gave it a 7.3 out of 10, and my anime list gave it a 7.4 out of 10. So they give it like a C minus C. I'm giving it a B, an 85%. So that's my grade, and that's my thoughts on and review on Eden Zero. What did you think? If you've seen Eden Zero, please put in the comments section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode when we break down series review. And keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.